Our first panel is with three individuals who I find quite fascinating to talk with about their different views on one of the most important industries for the Engadine today, which is tourism, and the future of tourism. What is it? Where is it going? How is it? What does it mean for the valley, for the community, for the local community, international community? What does it really mean? And especially with the changes which are coming. How do they see it? Because these three are intimately involved with this day to day. So I'd like to invite Bettina Plattner, Marijana Jakic, and Mik Häfliger to the stage. Come on up, please. Welcome. All right, no, thank you. Otherwise, it's going to be a boy, girl. Yeah, this is better. There we go. All right. So, first of all, thank you for being here in this heat. And the stage is, this is a hot seat, quite literally and figuratively, I tell you, up here. Bettina, what does everybody in the room need to know about you? Like, who are you? You need to put the mic right there. Yeah.
My name is Bettina. I grew up in Zurich, but I've been living here for the last 30 years now.
So you're still a tourist?
And I'm a hotelier. I have a classic hotel management education and a classic career. I've always managed hotels for the last, as I said, 30 years here in Engadine. And I've always been working with my husband. And now I am the owner of our own hotel for the first time, and we have hotel managers who manage the place for us. And we do all kinds of things like speaking on panels and writing books. And we have quite a few engagements in board of directors and foundations and things like that.
Great, perfect. Thank you. That's a great start. Thank you, Bettina. Marta, who are you? What does everybody in the room need to know about you?
So my name is Marijana. I'm the CEO of St Moritz Tourism. I have Croatian origins, came to Switzerland and St Moritz when I was 11 years old, then went abroad and came back 7 years ago to the paradise again back. I'm a mother, single mother, have a 16 years old son, and yeah, that's the valley is my passion.
There you go, beautiful. But your role you have here professionally is?
CEO of St Moritz Tourism.
CEO of St Moritz Tourism. Did you say that? Maybe I missed that. Okay. All right.
You missed that, yes.
Did you miss that? I'm so sorry. I apologize. And Mik, what does everybody need to know about you?
Thanks a lot. My name is Mik. I'm responsible for innovation at Graubünden Tourism. Graubünden Ferien is the correct name. We are taking care of marketing, shared services, and innovation in regard of the whole entire southeastern part of Switzerland. So the destinations, we are not a destination, we are a region. And I'm there since 8 years, since 2017. I'm doing this innovation job. I did a study about that. You can study everything, even Alpine you can study, but you can also study innovation, and I did that. I have an MBA in business creation, business model innovation, and I'm married. I'm living in Fideris. This is in the Prättigau. I know you will say the best in Prättigau is the train to Engadine, but Prättigau is beautiful. Prättigau is also funny. And yes, I'm living there with my wife and my cat, and my children are down to Bern. They are adult and nothing to do anymore with them.
That's not true.
Not a lot.
That's not true. I know that. I know different than that. My two, yeah. So what is tourism in your mind? I'm going to start with Mik. Start with you for a moment. For you, what is tourism?
Yeah, that's a good question. Everyone has most probably a little bit a different picture in his or her head. Tourism for us is when you are touring. That's why actually it's called tourism. So from this point of view, you come from home, you get somewhere else in fresh air, for example, not here in the tent, but outside, and then you tour around. And you can explore new things in another county or in another land. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big.
That's a big
set.
picture.
Yeah. But what about for you? Because you're focused on an area of city, village. What's tourism for you?
So for me personally, it has maybe it's a search for just, the thirstiness of the curiosity and then of the exploration and discovering new places, maybe learning something new. This is my personal definition of tourism. And maybe it's also connecting to different cultures and different places. This is how I perceive that. And today the tourism word is a very difficult one, and no guests, not us privately, but also not our guests, want to be called tourists. But we are somehow tourists everywhere we go.
Thank you. Bettina, how about you? What is tourism for you?
I think tourism has two sides. One side, like Mik and Marijana mentioned, the people traveling, moving, going someplace. Yeah. But tourism has also the other side, which is the locals who live with tourists, who have to get organized with tourism, and touristic offers like hotels and stores and restaurants and everything. And it has the very important aspect of serving the tourists who come.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that, because you have a hotel. It's in the heart of Pontresina, which is an old and also new community. Tell me a little bit more about the relationship between like the hotel tourism and the village.
I think many years ago, also when tourism began in this valley, in the middle of the 19th century, there was a big difference between the tourists and the locals. It was like two different planets, and no local would ever go into a hotel, and no hotel guest would ever talk to a local. But this has changed because society has changed a lot. Society is a lot a lot more open than it used to be. And today it is important that a hotel in a village, especially in a small village like we have them here in Engadin, that the tourists, the guests in a hotel can get in touch with locals, and locals can get in touch with guests. And I'm very convinced of that a hotel also has to be useful for the village. It has to offer things. It has to be interesting also for locals. If it is a restaurant or a party location, or in our case, we have the creative box. People can come and be creative. Hotels have to be open and be useful for the local community.
That's really good. So, Maria, for St Moritz tourism, St Moritz is slightly different than a Pontresina or La Ponte, right? It's a different animal, different beast. So how do you see this from that standpoint? Yeah.
So I think it's one without the other doesn't work. So we are not an enclave somewhere like without the nature from the Engadin, and the Engadin is not the same without St Moritz. So I think it's really a combination. What has made us what we are today is really the entire history and tradition. So when I look into the roots of St Moritz 3,000 years ago, it was what I see St Moritz in the next 100 years. So when we go back, what it was Kurort. It was a summer destination. It was people came to St Moritz for health and well-being, and stayed for months, not only for 3 days. And today, and only after that, it became a winter destination. And then with the Olympic Games in 28, it became internationally known. And then the rest is history.
The rest is the bobsled
Yeah,
run.
and today I think we are facing a time where, everything is going well in St Moritz. We are, I think, on the touristic side, doing really great, but we really need to look into the future. And what will 2028 or 2040, or what is after Olympic Games 28?
Let's go with that for a second, because I know, Mik, you've been thinking with your role with innovation tourism about game changers, which are changing with that. And then I want to talk about climate change and how this is going to change the face of everything that we're doing. So some of the game changers.
From a structural point of view, we are dividing this entire tourism business into different sections. So first you discover the region where you want to go to. Then you book the region. Then you look what you can do at this region. And at the end, you should be sort of loyal to come again. And there are indeed several game changers. So one major game changer is what we are always discussing the whole day, is the climate change. That's one of the game changers. Artificial intelligence is also a very interesting and important game changer, not underestimating. Then we have this entire metaverse topic. We are, I think since about 20-25 years, they are trying to find a parallel world to ours. Today we call it metaverse, right? And that does also change our world. Then there is also this entire traveling stuff. So you do not just travel from A to B because of the travel. You need also on the travel already an experience. You should have an adventure on the travel. So not to stuck in a tunnel with the train or something, such adventures.
I don't know about that. Most people don't want an adventure.
No, but you should. The travel is already part of the vacation. So these are the main things I can say as game changers. Also, the mobility is also a game changer. Yeah. So autonomous cars and so on. That will be game changers as well.
That's good. Bettina, you looked like you wanted to add something there. You don't have to. I just thought I saw you leaning in, so I thought maybe the comment.
Maybe I can add something.
Safety is a game changer. Safety. Security. I mean, we all know in what situation this world is, and many things are happening, and Switzerland was always a safe place. Mountains is even safer than Switzerland. And I think that's also a very important game changer for us.
Good point. One more thing, then I got another question.
I just wanted to maybe mention, maybe it's not like a scientifically, what I see as a game changer for St Moritz is really the change in the need of us. This morning I was preparing for this, and I was like, what makes us change? So I was at the dinner, the birthday party from a billionaire in St Moritz, and I sat next to a very wealthy lady, and we were sitting next to each other, and she did not have any diamonds on her wrist, but I have tourmaline and she had tiger eye. So I think this is what is or will change the luxury travel in the future. So it's not about status and showing what we have, but really experience the real things and looking after travel, which shapes us as human beings.
Okay, that's a great point. I like that. Bettina.
Another game changer is how society develops. We used to talk about where do we go on vacation or on a trip, where. I think there's really a change from where to why. Why are we going somewhere? I think it's not that important anymore where we go. It's important why do we go there. And that means not are we going to play golf? Are we going to do this? Am I 20 years old or am I 60 years old? The why is a totally different question, and the why is about purpose, about substance, about content, about culture, all these things.
It's great.
I think that's a game changer.
It's a really great point. Mick and I really want to get to the next question.
Yeah, but that leads me to the point of positioning. When we are doing our marketing at Graubünden Ferien, then we have always a little bit the challenge that every destination is doing same but different. So we have sort of good biking opportunities in Lenzerheide. They are very famous for this. We have the World Cup there and so on. And then Davos comes up and say, cool trails. We also have cool trails, so we go for biking as well. At the end, every destination is doing biking. So how should the guest know where to go? So give them a reason to go to St Moritz. Give them a reason to go to Schkuhl, to Davos, to Lenzerheide, to all these famous destinations in the. And to La Punt, of course. Yeah. How could I forget?
Go on. Yeah. So these are actually really wonderful points, because I think they're kind of spot on to some of the thinking we're learning this morning. Climate change. We heard a talk this morning about climate change. You know, from one hot summer day a year defined over 25 to having 2 weeks of hot summer days. Snowfall. The mountains should all be beautifully white right now as we look over the Albula, and it's all gray. So we know the differences. You know these as well. I know you do. How is that going to change things? And how does it change things from a tourism standpoint for you? In your mind, when you're thinking about your different roles, how do you think about this? Bettina, I want to start with you. You had the last word before, and then...
The climate change changes everything, and I would say at least we are on over 1,800 meters, because experts say more than 1,500 meters we are safe. That's future-proof. So we have a very good altitude. We will probably are going to have snow also in the future, I hope so. But anyway, this whole changement of the climate forces us to become independent of seasons. That's the most important point. We have to get independent from the weather, which means independent of snow and independent of sun also. The weather is as it is, climate is what it is. We have to become independent, and we have to be independent all year round. That means we have to find other interesting things to do than skiing or hiking. And you can hike with every weather and with or without snow. We just have to shift the focus and find other beautiful topics. And we are very lucky, because in the Engadine we have so much culture, we have such beautiful nature, totally independent of what the climate does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is another game changer.
That's great. That's really fantastic. So I saw both of you nodding vigorously. Yeah. Yes, you agree. This become independent of. I'm just trying to imagine. I mean, we're all enjoying this beautiful blue sky, and I like coming here for the weather. Now you're saying I shouldn't like coming here for the weather. But I'm trying to understand. What do we mean by by this? What kind of offers can we be thinking about, or what are you thinking about for us to consider to bring into our backcasting as we're looking forward? We're trying to imagine what could be. How can we picture this? Nick? Or Maria? Go ahead.
So I think short term is one thing. So it's really bad to say that profit, but short term we will have, looking into 1,856 meters and comparing that to Gstaad or other destinations. Short term it will bring us more guests and the weather will be great. Long term, I think the Alpine destinations or the Alps will change completely. So we are really going from ski, winter, summer seasons into all year round destination. And when I talk about St Moritz, I love to go back and look back what is there, what made us what we are today. And I think this will be a modern, contemporary Kurort.
Modern contemporary Kurort. No longer the horse racing and the
no horses, no polo. Yeah.
Interesting. Mik, what about you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mik, what about you? It's independent of weather. What does that mean? How do we imagine this?
We fully agree from this perspective, because we think that weather is one thing. We take it when it's beautiful weather. We take it, of course, also for offers in good weather and when you have a lot of snow for one season. But we have definitely, as both of them said, we have to focus on the future in different other topics. For example, there is this health retreat, well-being trend coming up. We should definitely also make something out of that together with the destination, together with, how do you say, the Leistungsträger and all these people.
The leading houses. Houses.
Yes, actually all those who are working then for that. And also this vacation thing is a trend. So people are coming up to the mountains to do their work they normally do in the office, in a mountain office. So this is something important. And also, a few other topics. I think we have to find out what we will do. But it has to be independent from snow and from the weather, definitely.
Okay.
Because maybe, if I may, I told it already to the people in the tent before in this group exercise. In Austria, there are 2 hotels. They have highlighted. One hotel did dog races, and everyone was laughing about dog races. Why should we do that? And this hotel was fully booked, because they had their community, the dog race fans. They came, they were there in, and the other hotel sticked to the skiing days and so on.
Bike destination.
Bike as well, bike and skiing. No, it was skiing. It was après-ski stuff. And at the end, they didn't have anybody in this hotel because it was a bad winter, and if there is a bad winter, there are no guests, and if there are no guests, you have no après-ski. So they were just empty. So the conclusion is you have to be focused on what you're gonna do.
Truly, truly interesting. I'd like to have everyone, at this point we're going to take a pause. And I would like for you all to have a moment to talk between yourselves. Take 5 minutes. Last time I gave you 10. You have 5 minutes this time. Fast, now you've practiced. What do you think? What questions would you like to ask them? Because I still have 3 or 4, but I want to give you a chance also. So we're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to time it right now. 15:22 to 15:27. Go. Who has a question they would have, Brian? Okay, we've got hands over here, we got hands over here, we got hands over here. Who's going to give me 5 francs? 5 francs. 5 francs going once, going twice. Get actually 6 francs. All right, 6 francs. All right. Brian, you're up.
Is the microphone on?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been coming to Engadina for a long time, more than 30 years, on a regular basis. Given that the important thing for the economy is to get people to come back, How do you find the balance between making Engadina particularly attractive to young people, and thus getting in a flow of new tourists, but also attractive to people 30, 40 years later,
Like
50
you.
years later? Exactly. So, I mean, how do you manage the multi-generational bit within either a single hotel or, you know, within at each scale
question.
you're at?
Okay, Bettina, go for that.
We've been saying for a very long time that we're not interested anymore in demographic information. It's not the question if somebody is 20 or 60 or 80 years old. That's also part of the where you go. It's like when 30 years ago we asked our Zielgruppen, target groups, youngsters and families and kids and no kids and golfers and all these things. We don't do that anymore for a long time, because when I say the question is the why, it's what is the common interest of somebody. That can be a similar or even the same interest for a 25-year-old person than for a 60-year-old person. It's like we used to manage Hotel Castell in St Moritz, and that was very famous for a very high-level art collection. And then the owner said, "Yeah, we cannot address the target group families with art." And we said, "Of course we can address families, because only the fact that you get children does not make you not interested in art." So it's all about what is the common interest of people. And we should not separate too much age categories. But we certainly have, now we have the baby boomers. You're probably a baby boomer, I'm a baby boomer. And people are not like 30 years ago when they turn 60, they're not old. They are educated, they know a lot, they are healthy. They are active. Look on the streets, all the bikes. Look who's sitting on the bikes. It's not the 20-year-olds, it's the 75-year-old. It's true. It's true. So I understand your question very well, but it's all
Mixed up in a big
Yeah.
morass
es
now.
verschmelzt viel mehr.
It's melting.
Yeah.
They're melting together now.
It's melting together. It's like we do things with our children. They are in the mid-20s. Things I did never with my parents. The world is melting together.
That's great. Bettina, I see both of you want to jump in. Mick, go ahead first, and then Marijana.
Okay,
Go ahead.
may I add something to this? I fully agree on this, but we also need to. We also, I think, but yeah, because the but we should definitely also check a little bit the channels we use. So when we are targeting younger people, then we should maybe rather go on TikTok and on all these kind of channels to reach them. It's all about reaching them. Of course, you're fully right. That's why I say I can sign what you said, but they need to be reached by the adequate channels.
The communication is totally different. Yeah.
Okay, so communication is different, but the guest group is, field group is, okay.
Yeah, maybe just shortly from my side, I think, so what we try to do, because I'm really struggling with my old products that I have, so which is snow polo, and it's not very accessible for young people. So what we do, we add to that on the frozen lake, amusements on the lake, where my son, who is 16 years old, can play hockey or can do some ice skating and do some bratwurst for 5 Swiss francs and have a drink, which is like accessible. So I can go to the snow polo and he can stay at the hockey field.
And you can go watch the horses run. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's augmenting. So as you think about augmenting. Okay. Good question. Yeah, go.
Thanks so much. I really liked the panel. I'm also from a tourism family from Austria. I went myself to a tourism school for 5 years. So the whole topic, my sister also has a hotel in Austria, family owned. So the whole topic is extremely dear to my heart. Maybe I can actually a little bit back what Brian has mentioned. I I would like to support what you said, Brian, because how do you keep making the Engadine attractive, for the next generation of tourists, of people who come here? I think it's not so much about whatever the social media channels. It's not about competing between Monaco and Dubai. Why do people come here in the first place? It's because of nature. So my question is, what are the innovations? I'm completely missing this in these discussions. What are the innovations to make the Engadine future fit? I give you an example. I mean, if I would be in your role, I would think of maybe getting rid of the Samedan airport. That would be something extremely cool, where you would get, for example, the buy-in of those billionaires and wealth holders, because they see, hey, they are really doing something because they're standing behind what they're talking. Something like that, so much more root cause changing than just a dog polo.
Make it real. How do we make the future real? Hey, you want to go for that?
I think it will not happen from today to tomorrow. So I think it's a process, and if we would say we get rid of, so I'm working now in the tourism, the industry, and I'm coming from other industries, and I can say that the tourism industry is the most slow one. So it's not that we decide today, or if I say we reposition St Moritz into Kurort or modern contemporary Kurort, then all partners clap and say, yes, we are going to do this. So this is a process, and it will take time. But I think it's really important that us as a destination or as our hotel partners and on the cantonal and on the federal level are all aligned on the future. So it's not, we are, I think, aligned that we will become a all-year destination, which is a big thing on the federal level. This was, before it was different. Someone was pushing summer, the other one were after something else. I think we are aligned on the thematic fields, which we think Switzerland has the potential to compete with other destinations in the world. And tourism is not that disruptive, or let's say the organizations as many of I was thinking before I joined this sector.
Well, that's sort of a big statement to make. Tourism's not that disruptive.
The destinations, the tourism is for sure.
Explain that a little bit more. So when you say tourism's not that disruptive, because one of the things that we're looking at, we think about the future of tourism, the future of the village, is how will tourism be impacting, and how are we hoping to impact La Punt, Shamwesh, and also the Engadine? That's what we're trying to imagine what it could be. And here we're saying, well, we can get rid of an airport. That could be one future. We can do all these different things. So try to give us some ideas, some little grains of other things we can maybe be thinking about. Anything, Mik? You can make a say, and Bettina.
Yeah, it's all about culture as well. So I understand the question, and I fully agree. Innovation was missing so far in this discussion, but on the other hand, it's as Marijana just said, it takes a process, and the culture is not mature enough for real disruptions. I tried this with a ski school model. I tried to change completely the ski schooling, and we failed, because as long as the old business model is working, they do not want to have something new. And this new ski school model, this was really for young people. Nobody wanted it, but whatever. We continue trying that. I think nature as such is not sufficient anymore. We need something between nature and Disneyland. And people do not want a Disneyland on the mountains. I understand that, and I fully agree that we do not want these attractions in such a way. But nevertheless, we need to have some sort of natural attractions. I made an ideation on this. What can we reuse from the nature to create an attraction out of it? There are different ideas on the plate. But that's the point, that it is a process and it will always be step by step and not so disruptive. Unfortunately, I would like to do more disruptive as well.
It'd be very interesting when you say Disneyland. I could feel sort of an intellectual intake of breath in the room, going. So we'll have to let that float for a moment and think of, is that as a Disneyland? What is Disneyland? Because Disneyland's a curated experience, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe that's a Bettina. Wait, Maria? You want to say something, and then who's gonna? Someone talk.
Maybe, no, just, I think we need to be careful on, I think that world is changing that much that, my role has changed. So someone in the 80s was really responsible bring the crowd to the valley, and they were successful. They brought the crowd to the valley, they called the crowd, and the crowd came. I think the destination management and the destinations, Alpine destinations, do not need super new products and innovation, but I think it will change in the future, that our role will change from calling the crowds into steering between the local community, the guest, I call it guest and not a tourist, and really giving it will completely change. It's not like building up a new bike trail or a completely new innovational hub or a contemporary art museum in St Moritz, and then we will have the crowds coming, but it's really being much more careful on who we call, when we call them, and how do we then host them when they are here. Yeah.
Okay, Bettina.
Is this the moment to mention Deep Health as a
You can mention anything you
offer?
want.
I mean, the question was, what offers do we have to create a real future? That was the question, right?
Yeah.
From talking about nature, the Engadine was looking for a health topic for many, many years. And it was, nobody ever came up with an interesting health topic. Among other reasons, nothing happened in this field because health was always thought including hospitals. And finally, it's not. Nobody talks about it anymore. Not even on a political level. The health as a topic to develop in Graubünden has been left until now, because now the Engadine is talking about deep health. Deep health, which means the health of myself, but also the health of my employees, the health of society, the health of the local community, the health of nature, health of the planet, health of everybody, health of the animals. And the concept behind deep health is mind-body medicine. That's has been developed at the Harvard University over 30 years ago, and it's also in Germany and in Switzerland. And the Fachpartner,
The professional partner.
The professional partner is the University of Zurich, Mind-Body Medicine Institute, and it's Mind-Body Medicine is. Does not need any medical infrastructure. It's all about know-how, how to reduce stress. It's a lot about mindfulness, but it's also about sleeping, eating, physical activity, self-care, and nature and arts. As I said, it does not need any medical infrastructure. It needs nature, it needs the touristic region, and it needs nice hotels and nice people and experts who are trained in that. And we are developing that now. Our hotel made the whole product. As a hotel, we went ahead and already started it, and we are developing deep health with the concept of mind body medicine now on a regional level in all Engadine, and more hotels are participating. And that's a very good example how we can profit of everything we have to put it in value in a health context. And yeah, we call it deep health, and it's all about values, about stress reduction, and all that very important topics we have in the society all over the world. And it helps us also to keep hotels open in all year round, because this kind of medicine does not depend on snow, it does not depend on sun, because as you all probably know what mindfulness is, mindfulness takes everything just the way it comes, with snow or without snow, with sun or with no sun. And this is a huge opportunity for the Engadine and for all the hotels and for everybody here, and also for locals. It's all open to locals, it's open for staff. It creates more employer value proposition, and because it's important for everybody, and it's prevention. We're not talking about sick people, we're talking about prevention, and that's what we do now in Engadine.
That's really great. I think it's a really important one.
And excuse me, and it actually was deep health, mind body medicine, just without calling it like that. It's actually the beginning of tourism. You mentioned it before, in the middle of the 19th century. Why did everybody come into Engadine? Because of the clean air, because of the sun, because of the whole inspiration. Why did all these famous artists live here and create here? Because they got inspired, because they felt good.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the point. I think that's a really, really good one. Unfortunately, we're going to have to come to an end here. But I want Marijana to talk about one thing before we do that. But I think this deep health is something which resonates a lot with what we were talking about earlier this morning, with some of the questions, and that gives a name to it, which I think is really quite fascinating because it's so broad. And I know, Marijana, when we were talking before and sort of preparing for this, you brought up the female future for tourism was in your mind something we should all be thinking about. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think that tourism has been very performance-driven and very performance sports-driven in the past, and how it was led by, in my case, so this is how I feel it. Maybe this is also how I came to this conclusion. So my predecessor, Hans-Peter Nanusa, who was a legend in the Swiss tourism, it was very ego-driven, very macho, like how we deal with partners, how we deal with the team, and how we present ourselves, and how we shape a destination as St Moritz. So I think when it comes to the future of St Moritz, not because I'm a lady, I think the values that my mother, my grandmother used to give to me or to our family will become crucial. So in shaping the brand, in shaping the future of St Moritz, we need to be much less on showing off and being in the middle of attention, but really being much more empathetic, much more caring, much more loving when it comes to our guests.
I think that's really fantastic. It's less showing off and more showing up for each other, and sort of in a fantastic. I would like to thank all three of you for sharing your thoughts with us and taking the time. It's really fantastic to share your passion for the valley and for the industry. So let us give this group a real big round of applause.